The Breakfast Club, bitches.
Now, I've been called a lot in my 23 years, but Donkey of the Day is a new one.
Donkey of the Day for Monday, June 8th goes to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Now, if you look around the world, you have a bunch of white people who are going out of their way to prove that they love black people and not just black culture. All right? Everybody wants to have conversations about ridding the world of systemic racism. Everyone wants to discuss creating a new system because we all know the system of white supremacy does not work for everybody. Look, I'm on record saying, ain't no good gonna come to America until they do right by black people. Period. Pooh. God has given America the opportunity to right its wrongs. God has given America the opportunity to reverse his bad karma. So I'm not upset at the white folks and white companies I see tweeting and posting memes, doing videos like Roger Goodell did, because Roger Goodell has the right idea, because one of the first ways to reverse bad karma is to write a letter or call those who you have wronged in the past. So that's a good first step for Roger. Okay, I'm going to let you hear what Roger had to say, and then I'm going to use Roger Goodell as a moment to teach, because these white folks at these corporations need teaching. Let's hear it.
We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much needed change in this country. Without black players, there would be no National Football League. And the protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We are listening. I am listening. And I will be reaching out to players who have raised their voices and others on how we can improve and go forward for a better and more united NFL family.
Well, the first player he has to reach out to is Colin Kaepernick. If he doesn't do that, it's a half-ass apology. You have to personally apologize to Colin Kaepernick. You also have to admit that he was blackballed. And if it wasn't a strategic, intentional blackball, when they noticed no owners were attempting to sign him, nobody at the top intervened to say that's wrong. Make sure he plays, okay? I got a question for the NFL. How many black people on the board of directors at the NFL? There's only one black GM in the NFL. The NFL got 3 black coaches, 0 black owners, but players make up over 70% of the league. 70% of the league, but 0% of the ownership. If you want to dismantle white supremacy, you want to change systemic racism, how about dismantle that good old boy mentality in the NFL, Roger Goodell? Not to mention, I don't like people getting no light bulb moments in the NFL, because Colin Kaepernick rarely talks, but he talked at the beginning of this peaceful protest a few years ago, and he told you exactly why he was protesting. So no way Roger Goodell or anyone else in the NFL could have missed that. Let's hear what Colin had to say for the millionth time, because I finally think y'all are listening.
I mean, ultimately, it's to bring awareness and make people realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust, people aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change. That's something that, this country stands for: freedom, liberty, justice for all, and it's not happening for all right now. When there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand. There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. I have great respect for men and women that have fought for this country. I have family, I have friends that have gone and fought for this country. And they fight for freedom. They fight for the people. They fight for liberty and justice for everyone. And that's not happening.
Simple. And for the record, if you wonder why black people have a problem with patriotism, it's because we know the creeds in America don't fully relate to us. Freedom, justice, equality, that's not fully for black people. Liberty and justice for all, nope, it's liberty and justice for white folks. We know that. So how can you expect us to feel patriotic when this country has shown us time and time again that the rules for white America don't apply to black America? But I'm not here to talk about that right now. I want to talk about the NFL and all other corporations in this country. If you are a corporation screaming Black Lives Matter, screaming that you want to dismantle white supremacy, that you want to abolish systemic racism, well, then pop the hood. Let's see what's in this engine. Because if there's no black parts underneath that engine, making that car go, then you are a liar. Okay, if your love for blackness isn't reflected in your place of business, then all these corporations are full of it. Okay, your corporation is full of it if your love of so-called blackness isn't reflected in your place of business, all right? Don't scream Black Lives Matter if you don't have a lot of black hires, okay? Using the hashtag Black Lives Matter is great, but what type of black economic opportunities are you providing for black people? We don't need I love black people tweets and memes and videos. Those are great. They make us feel good, but what about things that make us actually good, okay? I love seeing massive donations. I want to see more massive donations from these corporations with no strings attached. All right. I'm about all that from these corporations. But if you have a corporation and you know damn well your business doesn't reflect the Black Lives Matter stuff you preaching, then shut the F up forever. OK, don't let Black Lives Matter turn to Black Lives Marketing for some of these corporations, because that's all it is. This is marketing and promo for so many of these companies. But we're not going to let y'all tweet and just walk away. We got questions. How many black people work at your place of business? How many black people have senior roles in your company? How many black people on your board? What does your black representation look like? I personally feel like if black people make up 13% of the population, we should have 13% representation in all industries via equity, ownership, involvement. Do you have black people at your company who are outperforming the white people, but the white people still make more money than the black people? Why is that? Until that changes in these corporations, then guess what? Corporations, you are still practicing systemic racism. Period. Pooh. Please give these corporations and Roger Goodell the biggest hee-haw. You can't even use the term unconscious bias no more. You can't use that term anymore because you are awake. You are conscious. You are very aware of what's happening out here in these streets. And you want to change things? Simply look at your highest. Simple as that. White America.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for that donkey today.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you, brother.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, brother. What is that? What is that?
I'm just trying to confuse you. That's all.
You're doing a good job.
Donkey Today is brought to you by the law office of Michael S. Lamonsoff. Don't be a donkey. Dial pound 250 on your cell and say the bull if you've been hurt in a construction accident. That's pound 250 from your cell and say the bull.